Moving into the summer here now in New Zealand, and I thought it'd be a good time to just sit down and kind of go over the photo video gear that I've been using for adventure photo video, landscape photo video, that kind of thing over, both the last year and a half, 2 years since I last made a video, and then moving forward into this summer and probably quite a ways into the future. All right, moving right into the first and probably most important thing here is the camera. Currently, I am using the Sony A7R Mark V. I've been using this for maybe a year and a half, 2 years now. And I think it's probably one of the best, kind of landscape all-in-one photo video cameras out there right now. Being a great combination of, high resolution stills at 61 megapixels, plus, having some really nice video quality out of it as well, especially in good light. Having 4K 10-bit up to 50, 60 frames a second is really, valuable in, a small, relatively light camera in order to be able to just kind of, not have to switch between cameras and being able to keep things compact, keep things light, keep things moving when, up in the mountains or, hiking or backpacking or something like that. If I want better video quality, I would use something like an FX3 or an A7S3, but then, those aren't quite as good in the photo department as, an A7R5. So I moved to this camera from the A7 IV for that higher resolution and more dynamic range in photo and, more cropping options. It's just kind of, made sense for me to switch over to this camera from that camera. I do still think the A7 IV has better 4K 24-25p than this one does. I think it has better, sharpness, bit better dynamic range in those video files. But, that's kind of the trade-off for me for better photos, a little bit worse video, and then, better screen, better autofocus, things like that. That's the trade-off for me. I still do like the A7 IV. I still own the A7 IV kind of as a backup camera for weddings or events, but it's kind of moved on into the A7R5. Okay, moving on to lenses. I think, honestly, one of the best outdoor adventure landscape all-in-one lenses right now, if maybe ever, is the Sony 20-70 f4. This thing is, super light, very sharp. I have used the 24-70 f2.8 GM version 2 for quite a few videos, and it's got great sharpness, great weather sealing, and I think this is probably 90% as good as that lens, minus the f4 versus the f2.8. I think it's like 90% as good for, about half the weight, about half the size. Like, that's pretty significant when I really only want to take one camera and one lens up with me. That actually really helps. It's nicely weather sealed. For the most part, I did kind of have the weather sealing fail on me once in Franz Josef, but that's one of the rainiest places in the world. So it's kind of a torture test for any lens, and it did okay, out in the rain for a few hours straight. Maybe I should have put it away a bit more than I did. So that's, I think, less on the lens and more so on the location. But it's nice, relatively small, relatively light, compared to a lot of other lenses. And I think it's honestly one of my favorite lenses that I have ever owned. It's just super useful, super versatile. The next lens that I wouldn't necessarily take with me on every, hike, backpacking trip, mountain, expedition or whatever, but that is the relatively new Sony 70-200 f4 version 2. Oh man, this lens is phenomenal. Like, I don't understand how it's so good. Like, it is very small, very lightweight, very sharp, great autofocus, great image quality out of it, great stabilization. Like, and it's just this little package. Like, I don't know how Sony did it. I think these two lenses are kind of one of the best combination for backcountry photo video work right now. Like, they're just so small, so light, so high quality that just, like, I don't necessarily feel the need to bring my f2.8 lenses when I go out if these are almost as good and they're half to a third of the size total of those lenses. Like, this is just phenomenally good little lens. Now we're kind of moving into more specialty lenses. I think the 20-70 and the 70-200 are kind of more general purpose. They can work for a lot of situations, whereas, you know, I will bring these lenses if I'm doing something very specific. So, you know, starting off with the Sony 14mm f1.8. So I will bring this lens if I maybe want to try and do some astrophotography out in the back country when I'm camping or something. Because, you know, it's got the width, it's got the, you know, aperture speed on it, it's got the sharpness, like it's relatively small so it doesn't take up a ton of extra weight. And yeah, it's just a really great little lens. I haven't used it in a little while, but I did definitely use it when I did a Humboldt Peak to get some, you know, photo and video in the dark on the way up. You know, having that f1.8 aperture compared to the f4 on the 20-70 when I'm hiking in the dark really does help just get a little bit of extra, or actually quite a bit of extra light. So, you know, maybe I'll bring the 20-70 for the stuff in the light, bring this for astro, and then stuff in the dark. And, you know, kind of it's a great combo of, you know, two lenses. So 14 f1.8 G Master, love it. Now that we've kind of finished off cameras and lenses, which are kind of one of the bigger things, let's kind of transition and move into bags and accessories. So one of the main bags that I've been using isn't actually a camera bag. It's actually a custom 20-liter kind of running vest style bag that my brother actually made for me. So you can check out his website at chromatic.nz or chromatic.nz. They make, you know, fast packs, backpacking bags, bum bags, stuff like that. But he actually custom made this for me. You know, lots of pockets, roll tops, DCF for its so it's relatively, you know, water resistant. It's very lightweight, which means I can carry more camera gear with me, which is, you know, always the goal. Go check them out. Go check them out. I've been using this for a couple of years now. I'm sure I'll have plenty of examples where I'm walking by with this bag on. Generally what I'll do if I need to, you know, bring extra lenses or extra, you know, cameras or drones or something with this bag is I'll actually, you know, bring an extra little hard case or a little padded case or something. Put the lens inside, zip it up, and then kind of put it inside here just to kind of keep it protected. Because, you know, I won't necessarily need to access it quickly or a lot of the time, but it's, you know, nice to be able to bring a little bit more. So that kind of has the advantage of a bit of padding, plus, you know, the lightweightness of the bag itself. It's kind of, you know, a good trade-off between actually bringing a real camera bag and only bringing a hiking bag and wrapping it in socks and chucking it in there. So, like, I've got quite a few of these little, you know, dividers, you know, cases that help with that a little bit. Okay, other bags, I do use this Hyperlight Mountain Gear camera pod. This is still honestly one of my favorite bags that I have. You know, it's very protective for one camera and one lens, and maybe shove a microphone in the top. So, like, I have worn this on the front of, you know, my backpack for, you know, kind of more intense outings. You know, like when I did Kit Carson and Challenger, and it was basically just fog, rain, sleet the whole way. I kept this here to, you know, tuck the camera in, and so, you know, it's kind of more accessible but still well protected versus having it in the bag. So this is honestly one of my favorite, you know, pieces of kind of camera carry that I have because it's just useful. Okay, moving on to accessories. So for sound, I don't do any like lav mics or anything. I just use little on-camera Rode, Video Mic Go 2. I found that this is a pretty good upgrade over the Video Micro, either version 1 or version 2. Yes, it can still, you know, kind of have its moments if it's really, really windy, but I found that overall this is a pretty solid microphone in terms of wind and, you know, audio quality compared to size and not needing an extra battery in it and, you know, things like that. So still using this guy, still pretty happy with it.
A little bit of class 2 action up here towards the top. Don't worry. We're almost there.
Okay, camera strap, classic Peak design slide strap. That's about it. It's great. It's you know, fairly comfortable. I don't necessarily go for the capture clips because they've kind of been bruising. They were kind of bruising my shoulders when I was using that. So, you know, I just kind of generally sling the camera over my side, you know, when I'm out and about, you know, and it just kind of hangs here on the side instead of having it hanging here or clipped here something. I found that works best for me as far as, you know, kind of access quickly goes. Sometimes it swings around, but for the most part, it hasn't really been an issue. So Peak Design slide camera strap. Tripods, I'm still using the same one. Got the PG Tech Mantis Pod. Again, lightweight, relatively stable. It's kind of always a trade-off of stability versus weight, and I found that this is one of the best. Then if I do decide I want to bring, you know, if I know it's going to be a bit more intense, kind of landscape-wise, then I, you know, will bring the classic Peak Design carbon fiber travel tripod that's been up quite a few mountains with me so far. I took it, you know, up Mount Sneffels, up Humboldt, up Ben Lomond here in New Zealand. You know, it's relatively lightweight. Yeah, there might be lighter travel tripods out there, but this one is really good ratio of size to weight. You know, this packs down super small. Like I can fit this inside that 20-liter, you know, running vest that my brother made for me, instead of, you know, always having to strap it on the outside or have it bump it around somewhere. Okay, my little kind of bum bag kit that I generally carry with me for easier access, you know, either crossbody, back, here, you know, while I'm actually out and about, so I don't have to dig in my bag, is, you know, a little bum bag made by Hightail Designs in the US. It's again still going strong. It's seen some abuse. Nice little mountain print on there. But inside here, we've got extra headlamp just in case. Camera cleaning cloth from Canon. What? Get out of here. Just kidding. Little rocket blower, bring that with me always. Extra batteries. Generally, I go through 2 to 4 batteries per video. You know, just got this little think tank battery holder. This is still from when I was using the Panasonic G9 as my main camera. For adventure, it's still going strong. And then ND filters. I generally bring a couple extra ND filters for each lens in case I fall and scratch one or break one. I did do that on Quandary Peak in the winters. I had a big old scratch in the front of the ND. So, you know, just having some extras, even for a little bit extra weight, is probably worth it. So all of that fits in here. Easy access if I need a new battery, need a new card, you know, need to clean something, versus having to dig it out of my backpack. That's nice. The last thing I want to kind of go over is drones. Here in New Zealand, they have a lot of rules about drones, so you have to be kind of careful about where you fly, when you fly, what you fly, you know, as I'm sure everywhere else. But kind of, if it's in a place that I can fly and, you know, I have permission and, you know, the conditions are right, then, you know, I might bring a little drone. And, you know, kind of the one that I tend to bring hiking more often is the Mini 3 Pro. I think it's, again, really nice trade-off of image quality, pack size, and weight. Because, you know, this is obviously very small, very lightweight. And having, you know, 10-bit video in here still really helps with that. You know, still kind of being able to match with the bigger camera, so it's not super jarring, you know, when you're switching back and forth, plus having the image quality that I want out of it. So, you know, Mini 3 Pro, really nice little drone. It's, you know, served me well for a few years now. I've gotten some really nice footage out of it that I've been really happy with. So I understand that I'm, you know, fairly fortunate in the setup that I've been able to, you know, kind of put together over the years, but I have been, you know, making these videos for quite a few years. You know, I started with a old Canon 5D on my, you know, pretty much my first video, and then kind of have slowly moved up, you know, through Panasonic cameras, and then, you know, kind of moving into Sony cameras, A7S3, A1, A7 IV, A7R5. You know, it's been a progression. It's not like I just jumped in and spent a bunch of money. It's been, you know, kind of slowly building up into this system, and that, you know, I found it works really well for me. And, you know, I'm very happy with the image quality, both photo and video, that I get out of it. So, you know, hopefully this helps helps someone, you know, if they want to go out and do some outdoor adventure photo or video, picking out what you want or maybe what you don't want, and, you know, getting out there. That's the most important, is just getting out there, capturing it in the way that you want, if you want to, you know, capture it for your memories, and just get out there, have fun. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there. See ya.